Hello everyone. Sorry I haven't been on here in a couple of days, but I have been a little preoccupied. So just for those who may not have seen any of my previous videos, I want to take just a second just to kind of do a really fast, and this will be a really fast recap of my journey thus far. So back in November, me and my babe did a IUI, and we did the IUI. In the midst of us doing the IUI, we also did a AHSG, where we learned that one of my fallopian tubes is blocked, but we did the IUI anyway just because the follicle that I had, that was the dominant follicle, was on the opposite side of was on the ovary that's not blocked. It's connected to the fallopian tube that's not blocked. So we went forth with that. Also learned that my AMH is really low, 0.22, and with my age, I'm 41 years old. The chances of us being successful with IUIs will be really low. Still low with IVF, but better chances with IVF. So we decided we would go ahead and do the IUI just to see what would happen. I did the IUI, actually had a chemical pregnancy, but the chemical pregnancy resolved itself actually fairly quickly. So I want to say that my progression line, I got the positive pregnancy test probably, I want to say, about 8 days DPO, and then by 10 days DPO, the progression line started to disappear. And so went forth with our first IVF cycle in January. Had what I consider a standard aggressive protocol with 150 units of Menopur and 300 units of Gonal F. I stemmed for 7 full days, and then essentially my follicles were growing. I had 3, I should say, that were really large in the 20 plus range, and then another one that was 17 by day 7. So we went ahead, did a trigger shot that night. We did our retrieval 36 hours later. Did our retrieval. There were 7 follicles, 4 eggs that were produced out of that, 4 eggs that were mature, 4 eggs that fertilized, 3 eggs that made it to blastocyst. One of the eggs was graded 6AA, a 5AA, and then we had a 5AB. The 5AB egg is on ice. It is frozen. We transferred the 6AA and the 5AA, and I did my beta on Friday. Last time I did my video here, I had told you all that I had tested positive. I tested positive day 5 post-transfer. And my progression line, it started getting darker. It was darker day 6, slightly darker day 7. Day 8 looked the same as day 7 to me, and did my beta on day 9. Day 9, got my phone call back fairly quickly. So I was like, because there's the myth that the nurses wait until later in the day if it's bad news. But she called me fairly early, so I was like, let's see what this is all about. And she let me know. She called me and she was like, Latasha, I was at work, which is why I didn't record it, guys, sorry. She's like, your test came back, and it came back positive. But I know my nurse at this point, and I'm like, but what? That's kind of how I felt in my spirit when I heard her voice. And she said, it came back positive, but it's not as high as we want to see it. So at that point, I actually already had a feeling, and let me tell you why before I tell you what she said. The 2 nights up to beta, I started cramping, And I don't have menstrual cycle cramps during my cycle. I never had issues with menstrual cycle cramps at all when I was younger. And then after I had my youngest son, and I had all the issues with, cervical, with cancerous cells on my cervix. And after that and all those procedures, I started getting menstrual cramps before my cycle. So generally about 5-6 days before I start my cycle, I'll start having cramps. And but during my cycle itself, nothing. I'm usually fine. And I started having cramps, like I said, a couple of days before beta. And I had to ask myself, is this my cramps that I get before my cycle? Because that's about this time. Or is this something going on with the babies? Because I had been having, cramps before, and I was pretty positive that there were implantation cramps, which is why I took the test, because I started getting really tired and really nauseous, nasty metal taste in my mouth. That's what it's the amount of exhaustion that I was experiencing, the nausea along with the metal taste in my mouth that made me go, let me test, because the metal taste is not a symptom of the progesterone or the estrogen. So I'm like, So that's what really made me want to test. And so, but then I started having the cramps thereafter, and they were not the same. The implementation cramps are uncomfortable, but they don't really hurt. These had moments where they made me go, ooh. So I started feeling like, unfortunately, I've been through this before. I started feeling like this is like the sign of potential miscarriage. But want to be positive and go, maybe it's not. We'll see. So fast forward back to Friday when she called me. She told me that my beta was 25. So any of you, if you are familiar, positive, they consider you positive anything over 5, but with 9 days DPO, they want it to be at least 50. And so with it being 25, I felt like I'm probably right, that this is probably a miscarriage. So she was so sweet and was like, I'm not saying that it's not. I'm like, you don't have to do that with me. I appreciate it, but I'm okay. I'm going to have a hard day today, but I'll be okay. And so I tested when I got home that day, and the line was just as light as it was the day before, which it was, to me, letting me know that what I had been suspecting is probably the case, because it wasn't getting darker. And with that, I had done the clear blue and the HCG. For the clear blue, the HCG amount that you should have in your bloodstream by that time should be 30. And so that clear blue tested positive on 7-day DPO. So for me to now be at 25, and that one that had triggered at 30, potentially that's what they say, then I know my numbers are probably going down. So I tested again the next day, and it was lighter. And I was like, yep, because I used the same test, MomMed test. They're actually really good, and I ordered those off Amazon, and it started getting lighter. And so I tested again today, after I was feeling like cramps in my back last night, and it had me a little bit worried about being potential ectopic, because they were in my back and they were really hurting. But with my numbers dwindling, I'm like, I think I might be safe from the ectopic. I'll just keep an eye on it and test tomorrow and see where we are. And then today, I tested today, and it was still positive, but it's so faint you can barely see it. So it was almost like my first day positive. So I feel pretty confident at this point that by the time I do my second beta tomorrow, my numbers should be dropping. And it's tough. It's always tough to know that you're that you lost them, but I believe that, God, what's for me is for me, and when it's supposed to happen, it will happen. And so I have just a lot of confidence in my faith, and I am going to be okay. We're going to be okay. I talked to Babe and I said, for me, I just ready to do another retrieval, because we have the one on ice. I'm not going to unthaw that to test it or anything, but I do want to go through another retrieval to see if we can accomplish at least what we accomplished before. I'd be very happy if we can do that. And if we can get more eggs, that'd be even more wonderful. And then just based off what happens with that retrieval is going to determine what we'll do thereafter. We did determine that we wouldn't do more than 3 retrievals. So after retrieval number 3, if we have to get to 3, then we're going to be done. And then whatever embryos we have, we'll transfer them. But once we transfer them, then we'll be done with this journey. So it's still early on in our journey. I am still, very hopeful, and I'm grateful that we do have another MB baby on ice. That is another opportunity for us. But I'm just ready for, at this point, for my numbers to get down low enough so that, we'll be able to try again. And I'd rather do that sooner than later. So that's where I am. So I'll keep you all posted and updated on what happens with that, what my doctor says, as far as when we'll be able to give this another whirl. But yeah, I'm still wrapping my mind around it a little bit, but also accepting it at the same time. Like, I'm cramping right now while we're talking. I had a very, very teeny tiny light spotting this morning. That was after I did my progesterone, and now I'm just want to, I guess, have conversations with my nurse and my doctor about what we can do different this next time. I think I need to be on progesterone longer, because I was only on progesterone for approximately 64 hours the last time, and everything I've read indicates that I should have at least 96 hours of progesterone. And so I want to ask my nurse and my doctor why I was on it for such a shorter period of time. They might have a reason, but I want to know what that is. Yeah, and that's it. So I am getting ready to go into the store so that I can make dinner tonight. And I'm hungry because I haven't eaten much today, so except for a bowl of cereal. So looking forward to getting me a little bit to eat. So I will end this here. I appreciate you all for tuning in, and I appreciate everyone who has, provided the congratulations. Thank you so much. And yeah, I appreciate y'all. Thank you. Bye.